Are you thinking about building or buying a brand new home in Columbus, Ohio? Some of the questions you might be asking yourself: is building a new house a good idea? Is it a good investment? How long does it take? How do I choose a builder? And what else do I need to know? Well, in this video, I'm going to break down 6 huge mistakes buyers make when building houses in Columbus, Ohio, covering all these questions and more, and it all starts right now. So let's go! If you're new to my channel, my name is Mark Van Stein. I make videos on what it's like living in Columbus, Ohio. I cover things like the pros and cons of building new houses, the best schools, neighborhoods, areas, cost of living, and all things you need to know about living in the capital city. I try to give the viewer a really good understanding on what it's like to live here. If after you watch the video you find it helpful, do me a favor, hit that thumbs up button down below. It just lets YouTube know that, hey, Mark's doing a good job. If you're trying to learn more about living in Columbus, make sure you subscribe because I'm making new videos every week, not only about Columbus, but its many suburbs as well. Okay, enough about me. Let's break down the 6 biggest mistakes buyers make when building homes. Number 1 is not having the right expectations and not being realistic. It's easy to get caught up in the excitement and designing and building your dream home, but it's important to be practical about what is actually going to be feasible. You might have a vision of a grand, spacious home, a fairy tale castle, but can your budget accommodate that dream? Building is expensive. Unless you have unlimited funds, you're probably going to have to make some concessions. And who has unlimited funds? Unfortunately, the reality is most people don't get everything they want when they build. Another common expectation is that everything will be perfect without any flaws. While it's important to have high standards, I know I have high standards, you also have to remember that construction is an on-site imperfect process. You want to work closely with your builder, more importantly, the super who is overseeing the construction, and keep those lines of communication open. Also, remember the importance of location, something home buyers often tend to overlook. Many are often focused on the size, layout, fixtures, and overlook the neighborhood and surrounding amenities. Do a little bit of research on the local schools, shopping centers, hospitals, and other important factors to ensure that your new home meets your location needs. I had a client a few years ago move down to Alabama to build their dream house. They loved the home. It was in a gated community, fantastic views, great floor plan, but it was literally 45 minutes to the nearest grocery store and even further to the hospital, which they totally overlooked. Now, you're probably not going to have that problem in Central Ohio that you're building way out in the country, but it's something that people often overlook and don't put enough focus on. Lastly, home buyers often underestimate the time and effort it takes to complete a new home. From securing permits to choosing finishes, there are lots of decisions that need to be made throughout the building process. If you decide to build, you have to be patient and have a realistic timeline. Remember, nothing happens quickly. A quality build is going to take some time and effort. Number 2 is not getting third-party inspections. While most home builders are on top of things, and of course the county will be inspecting the home as well, it's important to have an independent inspector to ensure everything is being built properly and nothing is being overlooked. I can't tell you how many horror stories I hear about things being forgotten in new construction or completely missed. Have you ever built a new home? Do you have one of these stories? Drop in the comments down below. I would love to hear about it. The reality is that builders leave it up to their subcontractors to do the right thing and rely on their superintendents to oversee the subs, and of course the county code inspectors. Well, county inspectors are stretched thin and overworked. The subs sometimes don't do the right thing and will shortcut something. And I mean, a builder superintendent might be overseeing dozens of homes being built at the same time. It's not unthinkable to think that something could slip through the cracks. You just don't want it happening on your home. Getting a third-party inspection is going to give you some peace of mind and make sure nothing falls through those cracks. Building a new home is a significant investment. You want to be sure that everything is being done properly and nothing gets missed. Most importantly, if you're thinking about building a new home or relocating to Central Ohio, make your life a little easier and let me and my team help. I'm a full-time RE/MAX realtor and have been helping people with their real estate needs for almost 2 decades now. I'm actually a 3rd generation real estate agent. You can call me, text me, email me, scan the QR code. My contact information is down below the video as well. Number 3 is working with an inexperienced builder. While it's tempting to work with a new or less expensive builder, it can lead to all kinds of problems. Newer builders may lack the necessary skills, financial stability, and relationships with subs to effectively build a home. Inexperienced builders also might struggle with sourcing quality materials or negotiating deals with suppliers. This can result in using a lower quality material or taking shortcuts, or even worse, not paying their subcontractors. If that happens, then you've got a subcontractor putting a lien on your house. Trust me, I've seen it. It's essential to do a little bit of research and work with a reputable builder. We had a large national builder come into Columbus. This was like 12 years ago now. Building at a pretty high price point. They were only here like 3 or 4 years. They couldn't establish good relationships with the subcontractors in town, and quite frankly used inferior materials. I tell my clients to avoid those homes when they come on the market. Remember, a builder is only as good as the subcontractors they hired to build the house. If they don't have those relationships or use inferior subs, it's really going to show in the house, and you're going to be spending a lot of money for this house. That's why it's so important that you use a reputable builder. Number 4 is not having any representation. Some people think that maybe they can save a little bit of money by not working with a realtor or an attorney, or they just don't need someone to help. You have to remember, as nice and as helpful as sales agents are, they work for the builder and have the builder's best interest in mind. They don't represent you. Whether you've built homes in the past or this is your first time building something, sometimes you don't know what you don't know. I grew up in the real estate industry. My mother, who's also my partner and broker owner of our company, used to be the president of one of the highest regarded builders in town's real estate companies. It's just important you have someone on your side during this process. Let me briefly give you an example of what I do when I work with a client on a new build package and what other realtors should be doing as well. First, it's finding a quality builder that's going to fit that client's style and needs. There are dozens and dozens of builders out there, and some you should avoid like the plague. But finding the right builder is the first step. Next is designing the home, helping my clients make the right choices based on their budgets. Getting the right things in the home during the build, thinking and planning for the future needs. Knowing where you can skimp on the budget and where you shouldn't is huge. Then going to design meetings and making sure they choose styles that aren't too trendy. I see this way too much. Designers want to push these trendy decors and colors. Then 3 years later, it's out of style and you've got to pay to bring the house back up the style again. Once the construction actually starts, meeting my clients there every couple of weeks to check the progress. If you're building a new home, you absolutely have to visit it often to make sure it's being built the way it should be. I hate to say it, but there's so many things get missed or forgotten. You're the only one who knows exactly what is supposed to go where in the house. I had a client last year who was moving in from out of town and couldn't be there at the property. And I would literally go there for them every other week or so and FaceTime them so they could see the progress and make sure things weren't being missed. Lastly, like I mentioned earlier, helping them through the inspections, all 3 of them. If you're building a new home, my recommendation is you have 3 different third-party inspections at different times during the build. There is so much more to talk about, but I don't want to make this section like 20 minutes long. If you're thinking about building, please just make sure you have some kind of representation. It's just way too big of an investment not to, and that's where I can help. If you're thinking about building, give me a call. Let me explain how we can assist you. Number 5 is not budgeting properly. Building a new home is expensive, period. You have to be realistic and have a budget in place before you start the process. Not budgeting properly leads to overspending, arguments, sleepless nights. I've seen it all. First, you have to factor in all the costs associated with building a new home. I mentioned this on another video on my channel, the pros and cons of building a home. There are lots of things that won't be included in a new build. Outdoor living space, blinds, curtains, finishing the basement are some big ones. Then you're going to have to buy furniture for this new house. It just all adds up very quickly. Every year I meet with homeowners who are selling newer built homes, and it's very evident they didn't budget properly. Empty rooms, skipping on things in the wrong places, no outdoor living space, you name it. Let me tell you, it's not easy in Columbus, Ohio to sell your home and get top dollar without a patio or deck. but every year I see a few. When you build, prioritizing your budget based on your needs versus your wants is so very important. Figuring out things that are the must-have versus the must-wants, and then sticking to a budget through the build process will help you avoid overspending. Lastly, number 6 is designing the wrong floor plan. I touched on this a little bit earlier in the video. While you absolutely want to design a floor plan that suits your needs and lifestyle, you also have to take it into consideration future homeowners. A big common mistake is designing a floor plan that's too personalized to your own needs and unique. You have to think about functionality of the home and what each room will be used for. I have a listing right now that has a room that neither I or the homeowner know what it was used for or what purpose it might have been. I mean, I can guess it was probably like a music room or a sitting room, but how many homeowners today actually need a room like that? It just ends up being a wasted space, which if you're building, you will be paying a lot of money for, square footage. I'm not suggesting you don't build something that's going to fit your lifestyles and needs. Just go about it a way that makes sense. A good example of designing flexible space in a building is what I like to call a first floor flex room. This type of space can be used for a kid's playroom so all the toys aren't scattered everywhere on the first floor. It could be a secondary office. If it's built with a bath or a bath nearby, it could be a guest or an in-law suite. This is the way you should approach the design process. Rather than designing a space or room with one purpose in mind, design one that could have multiple purposes for multiple different buyers. That's exactly what one of my clients did when they built. They built a flex room that they were using as a secondary office, but there was an oversized closet off of it which they ran plumbing to during the build. So if they or someone in the future needed to turn it into a full bath, it would be super easy. Was it expensive to run plumbing and drains behind the walls while building the home? Not at all, a couple of $100s. But now that bath can be finished off quickly and easily if necessary. These are the things that you need to be thinking about when you design a home. Not necessarily your needs right now, but think about what your needs are going to be 5, 10, 20 years from now. Well, those are 6 of the biggest mistakes I see. I'm sorry, I tend to get a little preachy about this stuff, but it's just so very important to me that people and my clients make good, educated decisions. Like I said, I've seen way too many mistakes in my 19 plus years of doing this. Hopefully, you found the video helpful and maybe a little bit entertaining. If so, please give me that thumbs up button down below. And make sure you subscribe because I'm making new videos every week. And of course, if you think you need some help building a new home or moving to Columbus, please reach out. You can call me, text me, email me. I'm pretty easy to find. Until next time.